All right, let us move on. So bringing it home. Tony Lucero is going to come and talk to us, and powerful exercise at the beginning there, Tony. I really appreciate it. I wrote down one of the words the one I highlighted was appreciation. So, because I'm feeling very appreciative of everyone that showed up today, appreciative of all the speakers, and for, as Dana mentioned, John and Elaine and Bodie, everybody on the leadership team at IWA. So for over 3 decades, and again, the guy looks like he's 25 years old. So that would have been 3 decades. Tony has worked with a variety of companies in establishing culture, leadership development, and expansion. And one of his personal teams grew to 48,000 members and resulted $2 billion in sales. That's something to celebrate. So he is a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I've been called certified, but different way, different definition. He's a clinical hypnotherapist, sound alchemist, which that's intriguing to me, and an author. And he's the founder of Frequency Factory, which is a personal growth company organization specializing in human activations. Tell me more, Tony.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dan. Yeah, what an amazing couple of hours it's been. It's very interesting how we're all kind of synergistically aligned, how we're speaking our truth right now. And I took a bunch of notes, and so it's great to follow Anna. Anna, I got you, girl. Like I feel I picked up what you're putting down. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes with you guys. And one of the things that I love talking about is how to kind of simplify our life, or how do we go from where we're at to the next chapter. And so I actually have slides. I mean, this is really freaky because I'm not the best slide guy, but I want to share this with you guys. Can you guys see my slide deck there? Can you see me on top of the mountain? Say yes. Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So to kind of bring everything from what I've been experiencing in my life and the things I've learned today. And I'm always going to be a master student. I always want to teach people the things I learned. I've had some amazing experiences, which we're not going to go into. But then I also want to be a master creator. And I feel that we all have this amazing ability to create. That's why we're here, right? Is to create this amazing life. But how do we now take all this stuff that we have, that we're inundated with, and get to the next level? So I'm going to share kind of some things that when I work with businesses, when I work with individuals, kind of some common thread that I see all the time. And the first thing is, it's really interesting, this word intention. We heard it a lot today. And one of the things I want people to take a look at is this idea of being intentional, or having intention when you do something. It's one thing to sit down and, eat a meal, but it's another thing to be very intentional when you eat a meal. Like I always, some people pray over their food. I always just put out some really good intention like this. Let these nutrients I'm about to eat, wherever they came from, whatever part of the world they came from, let them fill my body with all the good stuff that it needs, and whatever it doesn't need, let it go. So I'm always intentional when I learn something. When you came onto this Zoom today, this workshop today, what was your intention? Were you here just to show up and, pick something and take some nuggets with you? Or were you here to like really be present, take these things you're going to learn and apply them to something? So what is your intention? It was my word last year in 2020, where are we at? 2023. I became very intentional with the relationships, with the collaborations I was doing, with the businesses I chose to work with the things I was doing in my spare time, like very intentional. And it just like, life was just like this dance, and it continues to be. So my word for you guys is to be very intentional when you get ready to do something, especially if you get ready to apply some of the things that you learned today. Is what is your intention behind it? And when I work with people, some of the things are intangibles. And when I talk, a lot of people go, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that, Tony. I know that. I've heard that before. Well, now more than ever, we have to be very intentional with our health. So I don't know what you're learning, whether it be AI or, the next course you're taking or what, but if our health is not in check, if we don't look and feel good, I'm going to celebrate my 58th birthday in 2 months. And I feel better at 58 than I did when I was 28. And it's because of the things I've done along the way to make sure that I'm staying ahead of the stuff that's happening, right? So very, very, very proactive with my wellness. So what is your health like? Be intentional with your health, because if you're physically not feeling good, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, if you don't have the energy, if you're putting things off, if you're not exercising your mind, body, and spirit, you guys, everything suffers. You're never going to have the breakthrough in your business. You're never going to have the breakthrough in you. So I want you to be very, very intentional, okay, with your health. The other thing, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, is this whole idea of your environment, cleaning the clutter that we have in our environment, taking out the trash that we have, right? Taking out all the stuff in our life that is just, it's crazy, crazy, you guys. It's the social media. It's the, it's the clutter that you have in your office. It's the garage that you've not gone to. You've got to declutter everything. You got to create space for something magnificent to happen. And a lot of people that I work with, they got clutter. Maybe their business is cluttered, or they go home and they see their desk and they just can't get around to it. I can't get around to it. Well, I'm telling you, how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you have clutter here, there's a good chance you can have clutter somewhere else in your life. And it's going to make it very difficult for you to have the breakthrough that you absolutely want. So clean things up, and your environment are those people too. Those people that are in your life that, let's just be honest, do they serve you? Huh? Are they vampires of your energy? Are they helping you down the track? Or are they pushing you in front of the train? So you guys, it's very easy to take a look at your environment, look around you, look at the colors and the flavor and the life. And if it's not life, get rid of it. Take it to the curb, okay? So your environment is a huge, huge thing for most people. The other thing is boundaries. We have to get better, especially now with regards to boundaries, drawing the line on the sand and saying, hey, this is what I stand for. So for example, when I work with people, I always say, hey, what are the 5 things that you stand for? That you draw a line and say, like, hey, you don't mess with my family, you don't mess with my kids, you don't belittle me. Like, what are those things that you're not going to allow people to come into your space and disrupt everything that you are, right? What are those things? You got to know what they are, because if you don't know what they are, then a year now goes by, 2 years goes by, 10 years goes by, and you still have the same things happening to you. Like, for example, I'm very positive. My number one success trait on the tests I've taken is positivity. So guess what Tony doesn't want in his life? Negativity. So I have a boundary that if something is negative, I go, whoop, I'm like a magnet, negative and positive. I just kind of go the other way. I've become so conditioned subconsciously and consciously that, hey, I'm just not around negative stuff. Like, I never hear of anything negative because I'm in this positive state, unless somebody somehow sneaks to the back door and sneaks up on me and says, hey, did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? So what are your boundaries? Define what those are. Here's a very simple boundary. And my family knows this. When daddy's in his office and the door is shut, I am busy creating, manifesting, talking, Zooming, whatever it is. When I come out, I'll spend time with you. So they know that when they can't come in my office when the door is closed. Okay, so that is a boundary. It's so simple, but it's very simple not to do as well. So what are your boundaries going to be as you're developing you and you're developing your business and you're working with your clients? Boundaries is a big thing. The new management, the new time management, you guys, is energy management. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with the energy that you have, with the amount of time that you're being given? Like, so many people are wasting energy on things that make no sense. No sense. So energy management is this energy that you have in your body from the time that you wake up to the time you go to bed. Like, what are you doing with it? Are you creating? Are you learning? Are you teaching? Are you exercising? What are you doing with it? And we don't know how much time we have left. We don't know how much energy we have left. So figure out a way with your boundaries and your environment that you're creating to have energy management. Manage your energy, right? Are you working out at all? Are you working out in the morning? Do you work out in the afternoon? Do you make time for movement? Do you take your shoes off? Do you walk out in grass, Mother Nature, to get energy? I don't know what you're doing, but be very aware of your energy management and where you're wasting. I call it wasted energy, wasted energy, wasted energy. Be very aware of where you're at. And a lot of people, especially now, it's so difficult to do this. That's why it's out of focus, is we got to figure out how to focus on something. I don't care if you're working on a project, if you're working on something, you're developing something, but lock into that state of focus for a period of time. 15 minutes. Say, for 15 minutes, I'm going to read a book. For 15 minutes, I'm going to do exercises. For 15 minutes, I'm going to learn something. Stay focused in that time. okay, which is the biggest thing I see people, because we're inundated with, what was that? Squirrel. And we're always all over the place because somebody's grabbing our attention. Figure out a way to get focused. And obviously you need help with that. There's so many great resources to help you do that. But focus is what's helping, or it's allowing people not to get that thing done that needs to get done. Get focused. It's probably the biggest thing that you might not be doing in your life with regards to the project that's at hand, right? That project that's stretched out over, hey, I've been trying to write a book for 15 years, right? So got to get focused, okay? So that's a big one for you, is to get focused. And then finally, you guys, the last one is to have fun. You know, be a kid again. I kept seeing that all the talkers, people were speaking, is like, we have to go remember what it was like when we asked questions, when we played, and we had this playful attitude, and we were doing things, and we're learning something with fun, you know, hobbies, whatever it is. You guys, the work that we are all doing, we are improving the quality of other people's lives, but let's make sure that in the process that we're having fun doing that. And I just want you guys to know that I am like so overwhelmed with the amount of gratitude that I have and show in my life every day, that I get opportunities like this to speak and help all of you maybe see something different. It's one thing to know the A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs, but those intangibles, something like, hey, the food that I'm feeding myself, the people in my environment, do I even have any boundaries? Do I even focus on anything? Can I get, or am I lost in la la land? All these little tiny things are things that a lot of people don't talk about because we're so into A, B, C, Ds, E, F, Gs, how to get from here to here. And we're missing the most important steps along the way, which is to make sure that you are good. So make sure that you are good. Everything around you is a reflection of you. So the better you are, the better your life is. The more negative you are, the more negative your life is. The more rich you become, the more rich your life is. You guys, that's just how it works. So Dan, I said a lot there in whatever
Yeah,
amount of minutes, but let's
you
go. I got another 2 hours in me. Let's go.
well, if people want to stick around that long, yeah, sure. So thank you, Tony. Very powerful presentation. I love it. And I look forward to, because you and I've never, we didn't meet until now. So I'm looking forward to our conversation. It's because
Yes.
we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to talk about. So, and I need to know your skincare regimen. I need to know how you look so young, so.
It's the water. It's the water.
Yeah, good. I look forward to more.